dude, your music is so good. I'm sitting there, I going, I need more bad things to happen to me. You know, I'm sitting there and I'm going, I love my girlfriend to death, but if she dumps me tonight, I got all these Tom Odell songs to listen to. I mean, it's so moving. And another round of applause for just that. Because I think something that gets lost a little bit is these songs are so vulnerable, and just the power and just the artistry that it takes to be able to perform that in front of a room of largely strangers in Los Angeles. I mean, it takes a lot of guts, and I just wanted to commend you on that, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And there is just so much to talk to you about, Tom, and I wanted to begin, of course, with Another Love. 1.5 billion streams, as we were talking about before we started rolling, and there's hits in this game of music, and then there's songs like Another Love that are just, you can call it timeless now. I mean, this is a song that is over 10 years old and has been viral on TikTok for over a year now, and my favorite part about the story is that you did it in such an organic way, right? It wasn't any tactics or viral marketing schemes that did it. It was the power of the music. And I got to imagine over the course of 10, 11 years, that song has evolved, and your relationship with that song has evolved. What does that song mean to you now? What is your relationship with that song today?
I don't know. I guess because it's such a large part of what I guess outwardly defines me, it's difficult to summarize. But I think it's a good song, and I think people have connected with it over the years in varying degrees of intensity, and it was just a moment of, as a songwriter, you get a few moments where you just manage to say it clearly and simply, and that was one of those moments with that song where I think I was feeling pretty sad, and I managed to get it in a song, and I'm fortunate that people have connected with it. It's difficult to once over a certain amount of people, it's difficult to imagine that amount of people. But anyway, I know I'm as you can see, I'm just waffling on. I don't really know how I feel about it, apart from that I feel very lucky that and humbled by the fact that people like it.
Yeah. Well, I think
that was an awful answer.
No, it wasn't. No, because you know what? This is what I was about to say, is I think it speaks to this sort of push and pull, if you will, this experience. And it was a very unique experience you had as you broke into the world of music, where you were on a major label, you had this inescapable hit song, you had this amazing, just natural knack for writing these massive hooks, and you found yourself with all the success and almost your talents being held against you in a way, almost, you judged for them, because you are such a real artist and such an authentic artist that you were being met with maybe opposition because you got so big so quickly and you were so good at your job. What was that like?
That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a journey that, I guess for everyone, I guess I've got this weird thing where I look back. I'm 32 now, and I look back on my 20s, and I've got all these songs which document my adult life. And my teenage years as well. I started writing songs when I was 11 or 12. So I've got all these sort of little souvenirs from different parts of my life, and I guess photographs or something. And I think, the job that I've always felt I have to do is just to be as authentic as I can in that moment, and however I'm feeling. And it is quite difficult to be honest. It's sort of, I remember reading this book, Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway, when I was 19 or something, and he said try and write one true sentence a day, and you try it, and I've tried it for years, and it's really quite difficult actually to say something true. What is truth? What is true to you? I don't know. It's because our minds, they try. We want to tell ourselves stuff about how we feel, and maybe actually not how you feel. It might be just what you want to feel. So it's interesting. But I love songs, and that's how I got into it. I got into it as a songwriter. I was obsessed with songwriting since I can really remember. I think songs are such an amazingly potent and powerful form of art because they're accessible by so many people, and they transcend language and countries, and I feel so incredibly fortunate to have travelled so far and wide with my songs and music. And,
Yeah.
Even just to be here today, don't take it for granted. It's beautiful that I'm able to sing and anyone wants to listen.
Absolutely. And you are a very prominent voice in the mental health community in terms of just being a big proponent of the importance of mental health. And I'm just curious, we all have our different journeys, whether it's through therapy or other methods. Has that sort of helped you become stronger and truer as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, it took me up until about 4 years ago to realise that sometimes how I felt had a name, and that was like, anxiety and sadness and all that. It took me a long time to work out. It's very comforting when I found to put names on things like that, because it means that it's a shared, you're not the only one going through it. It's less lonely. I started writing a few songs about it a few years ago, about how I felt. I mean, I kind of made a whole album about it, actually, called Monsters, which was very much inspired by me coming to terms with that. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's great. For a long time, I always felt like, why should, I have no reason to complain. I'm so lucky, like, comparatively speaking. But actually, I think it's great to just talk about, how you feel, because it encourages others to talk about it. And I think it can be really difficult to talk about as well. So if people see me talking about it, I think it's more helpful, even though it might annoy some people, but yeah, I would say. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And you mentioned Monsters. Now, your most recent album, Best Day of My Life, was very critically acclaimed, very well received in the music community and by your fans. And you're an interesting artist in that regard, where you have the huge commercial success. You also have the critical success. What did it mean to you to see that response to Best Day of My Life?
Depends which newspaper you read.
Okay.
How did it feel, the response? Yeah, Best Day of My Life, I mean, was like, was my 5th album, and it's all made on the piano, so there's not a single thing apart from, it's just my voice and the piano, and I've always wanted to do that because I love the piano. I grew up playing the piano, so it was an amazing challenge to make an album entirely based around the piano. Yeah, it was a labour of love, and I'm really pleased people liked it. Some people liked it, although my mum said to me the other day when I told her I was making another album, she was like, "Can you make it a bit happier?" Which I thought probably was a fair comment, but yeah, it's a surprisingly depressing album for the title, Best Day of My Life.
Now, you are fast at work on a new album, and there's rumors we might get it by the end of the year, maybe even the summer. What can you tell us about the new record you're working on?
I've just been holed up in the studio since January and or December, and I mean, I love writing songs, making music. I'm really excited about this next project, and I can't wait for people to hear it.
2 new songs, I believe, Black Friday and End of Summer.
Yeah.
Anything you can tell us about those 2, where those were born out of?
I mean, I write songs, it's funny, like sometimes it's very close to the truth, and sometimes it's, you're bringing a few memories and observations together, but yeah.
Now, in addition to the new body of work you're fast at work on, you have a U.S. fall tour. But then this summer, man, this is a crazy itinerary. You got 42 European festivals. You're going to do Lollapalooza here in the States, Bottle Rock here in California. Are you looking forward to those shows?
Yeah, can't wait. We haven't done a summer like that for many years because of COVID. Like maybe 2018, 19 was the last time we did lots of festivals. So I can't wait. I mean, it's such a great way to spend the summer, like traveling around, doing shows, and drinking beer.
There you go. Emphasis on the last part.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming by today, Tom. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Tom
Cheers.
Odell, everybody.
Thank you.